Nestled in the lush mountains of Asheville, North Carolina, the Biltmore Estate is celebrated as the crown jewel of American architecture, a staggering 250-room mansion built by George Washington Vanderbilt II in 1895. Visitors marvel at its grandeur, sweeping gardens, ornate interiors, and intricate craftsmanship. But behind its beauty lies a story far darker than the polished marble floors and gilded chandeliers suggest. Few know that this estate was born from tragedy, secrecy, and whispers of the supernatural. Some say the Biltmore carries a curse, one that began even before its doors officially opened to the world. George Vanderbilt, heir to the immense Vanderbilt fortune, was a man of refined tastes and lofty ambitions. He dreamed of creating an estate that rivaled the great European castles he had visited. Construction began in 1889, and George spared no expense, importing European artisans, rare marbles, and exotic woods. But ambition came at a cost. The sheer scale of the project meant employing thousands of workers: carpenters, stonemasons, blacksmiths, and laborers. While Vanderbilt's vision was magnificent, his temperament could be harsh. Workers who made mistakes often found themselves facing intense criticism, and some whispered of accidents that were far from accidental. Over the 6 years it took to build the Biltmore Estate, dozens of workers reportedly died under mysterious circumstances. Falls from scaffolding, crushing accidents with heavy machinery, and sudden illnesses claimed lives with alarming frequency. Some of these incidents were officially recorded as accidents, but locals whispered of something far darker. Stories circulated of workers seeing shadowy figures on the construction site, sometimes even when no one was there. Some claimed to hear whispered commands in the dead of night, or the distant echo of hammering long after the day's work was done. One particularly chilling tale involves a worker named Thomas, who was allegedly pushed to his death from one of the upper balconies after he accidentally damaged a rare wood panel intended for the main hall. Others say his spirit still roams the estate, eternally bound to the work he helped build. Even during construction, strange changes appeared in the estate's plans. Walls were moved overnight, staircases mysteriously altered, and rooms vanished from the blueprints. Some historians suggest this was Vanderbilt's obsession with perfection, but workers whispered of unseen forces guiding these alterations. That it was as if the house itself demanded control, a living structure that refused to be completed according to human plans. By 1895, the estate was finally complete, a marvel of luxury and elegance. George Vanderbilt and his family moved in, and the public marveled at the grandeur. Yet the estate's dark aura seemed to persist. Staff reported doors locking on their own, cold drafts in empty rooms, and shadows that shifted when no one was present. Guests spoke of hearing faint whispers, sometimes in languages they could not understand. One guest described feeling an invisible hand brush against their shoulder as they walked down the grand hallways at night. Tragedy seemed to follow the Vanderbilt family themselves. Though George lived in the estate until his death in 1914, several family members experienced a string of misfortunes. Untimely deaths, mysterious illnesses, and accidents plagued them over the years. Some believed the estate was cursed, that the spirits of the workers who died during construction had never left. George's niece, Cornelia, reportedly refused to enter the wine cellar alone, claiming she could hear voices of the past. Over the decades, paranormal investigators have documented eerie phenomena at the Biltmore. The servants' quarters are a hotspot, with reports of cold spots, doors opening and closing by themselves, and strange, unexplained sounds. Many claim to see a tall, dark figure in the hallways, often at dusk or during the quiet hours before dawn. The wine cellar, where countless bottles of rare vintages are stored, is said to be haunted by the original cellar workers, sometimes seen carrying invisible barrels or stacking phantom bottles. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures watching them from the grand windows, only to vanish when approached. Others describe hearing faint echoes of construction, hammering, footsteps, and the clinking of tools, as if the workers' spirits are forever trapped inside the mansion's walls. Some historians and locals insist that the estate carries a lingering curse. Those who spend too much time wandering its halls sometimes fall ill or experience accidents that seem coincidental but unnervingly precise. It's said that George Vanderbilt's perfectionism, combined with the deaths and suffering during construction, left an imprint on the house itself. The Biltmore Estate, while magnificent, became a monument not only to wealth but also to sorrow, fear, and restless spirits. Today, the Biltmore Estate is a major tourist attraction, visited by hundreds of thousands each year. Few are aware of the stories that haunt its halls. Guides often whisper about the unexplained phenomena, but many dismiss them as local legend or imagination. Yet, for those who explore the mansion in quiet hours, or stand alone in the servants' quarters or wine cellar, the air feels different, heavier, as if the past has not entirely released its hold. The Biltmore Estate remains one of America's most beautiful and luxurious homes. But beneath the grandeur, behind the chandeliers and polished floors, lies a darker story, one of tragedy, secrecy, and restless spirits. Some say the house remembers those who built it. Some say the whispers of the past can still be heard on quiet nights. And if you ever find yourself wandering the Biltmore Estate alone, pay attention to the shadows, the whispers, and the cold drafts, because the dark story of the Biltmore is far from over.